Can we talk a bit about Whitney's drug problem? When did that?
I don't want to talk about that. That has nothing to do with this documentary or anything that I want to speak about.
Okay, if you don't want to talk about it, but obviously it's
Not at
it's
all.
the thing that so it's important, isn't it?
That's not what.
So anyone who has followed Bobby Brown closely knows that he has been dropping hints for years, in interviews, in his memoirs, and in his emotional outbursts, almost as if he's been trying to tell the world without saying it outright that he knows what happened to Whitney Houston and how she died. However, it's always looked as if he is scared to mention something or someone, and people have always wondered whether the person who scares him to death is Davis. Honey, we might soon be getting a front row seat to everything he knows, because insiders are reporting that Bobby is done being silent, especially about and how he was unfairly blamed for years, yet other people were responsible for Whitney's death.
No, I didn't introduce to Whitney at all. We did together. There was no introducing her to anything. She already knew what she knew about. I mean, when I grew up with New Edition, we smoked, we drank beers and things like that. I didn't get into really heavy drugs until I met her.
Now, of course, I'm sure by now y'all have seen that Davis passed away peacefully at his home in Manhattan on June 22nd, 2026, at the age of 94, and his family confirmed his death, which followed a recent hospitalization for an upper respiratory infection. Well, the general reaction to the death has not been that of sadness, because so many people heavily viewed as the ultimate industry gatekeeper who held absolute power over artists' careers. Guys are actually saying that a massive gag order has practically been lifted from Hollywood, and they expect NDAs to expire, and for older, silenced artists to finally come forward with stories of creative and financial sabotage. I mean, there have been stories of how he did people like Luther Vandross dirty, and also the late Phyllis Hyman, who allegedly intentionally sidelined or sabotaged her career and mental well-being to make room for Whitney Houston's career. Yes, was behind Whitney's success, and pretty much the brains behind most of her hits. But what happens when someone signs people like Whitney? They get rich, and based on the trend we have seen over the years, they also get greedy. The only problem is that the artists reach a point where they want to have more control of their artistry and their money, and that becomes a problem to the people managing them, because more control for the artists means less control for them and less money for them. Apparently, this is why many artists usually end up mysteriously dead right after they start exposing how the industry is treating them like dogs. Case in point, Whitney Houston. Allegedly, this is exactly what happened to her, and exactly what Whitney revealed to Bobby Brown about Davis. Now, to be honest, when you look into how Davis and the people at the party where she died reacted to the news of Whitney Houston's death, the whole thing literally sounds like a horror movie plot. Like her body remained in the hotel room hours after emergency responders pronounced her dead, and downstairs, an extravagant party went on as planned, as investigators roamed the hotel lobby, and women wearing designer ball gowns and men dressed in tuxedos shuffled by towards the red carpet. It just doesn't make sense to date how Clive allowed things to play out like that. Baby, this is one of the reasons why there have been several theories suggesting that Mr. Davis had something to do with Whitney's death, because she wanted to get away and he wanted to continue profiting from her. Then just when Whitney started voicing her concerns about the industry, she ended up dead not long after. Actually, based on reports, Whitney was getting clean and was starting to take her control back, and her team didn't like that because they wanted to continue making money off her, and that is the only thing they cared about, not her sobriety. Basically, these are things Whitney allegedly told Bobby Brown, but he's been reportedly too scared to talk about it because was still alive. But there's more, guys. See, there are people who have always said that they believe that Whitney's daughter, Kristina, Bobbi Brown, even found out what really happened to her mom. And there have been reports claiming that she even had receipts. In fact, there have been allegations that she was present when Whitney was having her fights with Mr. Davis before she died.
Grammy time.
That happened.
And her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobbi Kristina was present for some of that fight.
Think about it. If Kristina was present during some of the arguments they had, don't you think that she must have heard things she was probably not supposed to hear? Which would probably explain why the circumstances around her death were very similar to her mom. I mean, it's always been super creepy how on January 31st, 2015, Chrissy was found unresponsive in the Georgia home she shared with Nick Gordon. She was discovered unconscious in a bathtub, just like her mom, rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately she died in hospice on July 26, 2015. At the time, her death was ruled a combination of drowning and substance intoxication by the Fulton County Medical Examiner, and the toxicology report found alcohol, a Coca-Cola-related substance, sedative and anti-anxiety medications, and more her system. The medical examiner's office, however, was unable to determine if her death was intentional or accidental. They just said at the time, the underlying cause of death is the condition which starts the downhill course of events leading to death, and in this case is the immersion associated with intoxication. The pneumonia and encephalopathy are more immediate causes, which resulted from the immersion and intoxication. Maybe her death was all planned, just like people have been suggesting over the years. But is it because she was getting too close to the truth about Whitney? Who did she confide in, and why did those conversations never come to light? Did she talk to her dad, Bobby Brown, about her fears? Could what she knew have put her in danger? And here's the big one. If Chrissy knew something, why didn't she go public? Or did someone stop her before she could? Is it just a coincidence that her story ended in almost the exact same way as her mother's? Well, Bobby Brown has talked on numerous occasions to date about how Chrissy's ex, Nick Gordon, may have been responsible for not just Chrissy's death, but Whitney's death as well, and how this entire situation was more complicated than people thought, like someone more powerful was involved.
Nick Gordon, the things that are being said by him recently, how do you approach that?
He knows what happened. I don't know what happened that night, but he does.
Who knows? Maybe Nick was just used as the scapegoat and someone else was behind both deaths, and we may finally know who was responsible, courtesy of Bobby Brown. Well, there are people who also don't want to hear anything from him, and I honestly get it. This is someone who admitted that he struck Whitney Houston during a time while he was trying to maintain sobriety. He also said that he and Whitney devolved into a pattern of substance use, and they would lock themselves in one wing of their mansion, getting high while nannies cared for their daughter Bobbi Kristina Brown just rooms over. Bobby Brown also gets blamed a lot for being the one who introduced Whitney to the hard stuff, and while he denies it, people still say that the relationship greatly contributed to her death. Actually, according to Bobby Brown's account of his wedding day, he saw Whitney snort Coca-Cola ahead of the ceremony, and she even allegedly offered him some. That actually became a lifestyle during their time together, but the first headline about their habit came when Whitney Houston was found in possession of in Hawaii in 2001. From then on, it was non-stop and countless stories about Whitney's charges that shed light on the habit she kept hidden for years. Now, while the headlines and courtroom appearances were one thing, nothing brought even more attention to the pair's relationship than being on the reality show Being Bobby Brown. The show premiered on the Bravo network in 2005 and filmed the couple for a few months the year prior, mostly highlighting the career and personal life of Bobby Brown. And obviously, Whitney Houston played a major role in the series. Apparently, Bobby Brown hoped showing that side of his life would change public perception of his image, but the show did the opposite. It put a spotlight on their troubled relationship and behavior with each other, and in a shocking and unforgettable moment, Bobby Brown proudly discussed removing feces out of Whitney Houston's butt on the show, leaving a bad taste and visual in the minds of many viewers. Yuck! So yes, I get why people would say that this should be the last person to talk about Whitney, but then again, y'all need to remember that this is also someone who probably had the most interaction with Whitney, and if there's someone who knows what may have happened to her, it's him. Bobby is one of the only people who knew the deepest, darkest secrets that Whitney was hiding about. And maybe the only reason why Bobby never said anything incriminating about is because he was probably terrified of his immense power for decades. I mean, let's be real. The ultimate industry gatekeeper who could completely freeze someone out of the music business if they stepped out of line. And for a long time, Bobby was always painted as the bad boy and blamed for everything, while the dark strings being pulled behind the scenes by the higher-ups were swept right under the rug. Allegedly, that's all about to end, because he is already gearing up to completely clear his name and finally spill the absolute unfiltered truth about what industry mentorship really cost Whitney. Baby, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to what he has to say. And if you are too, let me know what you think he might spill in the comments section below.